Moyo calmly replied, "No thank you," then selected Nightmare difficulty on his own. The students murmured that the madman had entered the Nightmare difficulty alone, as if he intended to throw his life away. Inside, Moyo felt a strong will to kill, and he began to scan the monsters to learn that they were far above the levels he had been fighting outside. And he thought, now I understand why they form teams, but I am alone, yet I have a complete team. And he started cutting down the beasts one by one, since a single monster now granted him 4,200 experience, 10 times the foes he had faced before. So Moyo grew eager to finish them all and reached level 11 in only 5 minutes. Then he said, now I can summon 4 additional skeletons after increasing my mental capacity. And at the same time he realized that the skeleton's abilities had doubled. He cleared the first floor of the dungeon until the area boss appeared, the Mine Wolf King, at level 15. And Moyo noted that while the king was stronger than a single skeleton, their numbers were greater than his. So he ordered his troops to attack and initiated his basic skills until the wolf tried to flee. He commanded them, "Do not attack unless I order it." A large pack of wolves rushed out to defend their leader, and Moyo observed that though none were individually powerful, their numbers exceeded 100 wolves literally, slaughtering them, and used the corpse explosion skill, so that a single blast could take out 5 or 6 at once. Finally, he finished the wolf boss, yet the experience points remained insufficient. So he resolved to continue into the second part of the cave, and kept cutting down monsters until he reached the Imp King, knowing that if he killed that king now, he would advance to level 12 in strength. The Imp King charged at Moyo, and his power crushed and broke some of Moyo's skeletons, because this mighty imp was stronger than the undead. Moyo saw that the king's defense was weak, but he commanded a full army of the dead. After heavy fighting, the imp slew many of them, so Moyo ordered a tactical withdrawal to buy time until he could let the Imp King deliver his killing blow without any minion being harmed. Then he resummoned them to fight, and by this effective method the damage fell heavily upon the beast until Moyo destroyed it completely and looted a bronze imp sword, the robe of wisdom, and the red heart of the Imp King. And of course, he leveled up to level 12 in power. He donned the robe of wisdom, which increased his stamina and wisdom, and he thought, the Imp King's heart is worth more than 100,000 gold coins. Put it aside for now. And he left the dungeon, while the students exclaimed, "Is that the same boy who entered earlier? How did he obtain the robe of wisdom? This means he killed the final boss." Moyo then went to a tree to gather his scattered strength and said to himself, "Now I understand every hiding place in this dungeon to the last detail, and next time when I enter it, I will clear it faster and stronger." After 12 hours of the dungeon's cooldown, Moyo had fully recovered his strength. He then saw a group of warriors arguing with the Lineage Guild, which had forbidden anyone from entering the dungeon at that time. One of the guild members shouted, "Our leader is inside. No one is allowed to enter until he's finished." When a warrior protested, they killed him instantly. Moyo asked calmly, "What's going on here?" One of the onlookers replied, "The Lineage Guild is blocking everyone for no reason. The truth is, they're after the Demon King's heart." Moyo remembered the heart he had taken before and asked, "Is it really that important?" The man nodded quickly. "Of course, the heart can be forged into the Demon King's ring. It multiplies all your powers by 10 and increases all your skills by 1 level, but you can only use it after reaching level 15. That ring is the strongest item anyone can rely on up to level 40. That's why the leader of the Lineage Guild needs it to qualify for Zhaozhang Academy." Moyo immediately turned toward the cave. "Where are you going?" someone shouted. "You'll get yourself killed." But Moyo simply warned the guild members not to approach him. They sneered, "You're only level 12. Where did you get the nerve?" Then they attacked, but one of Moyo's skeletons blocked their strike. One of the guild fighters used Ring of Fire to push the skeleton back, and their leader roared, "What are you waiting for? Attack him now!" The skeleton countered and crushed the first attacker with a single blow. The others charged at Moyo directly, forcing him to summon 2 more skeletons to shield him from the incoming attacks. Then the vice captain activated Infernal Cataclysm, one of the devouring skills, and laughed arrogantly, "This time, you have no chance against me." But Moyo's skeleton army stood firm, fighting with relentless will even as their strength began to fade. Reinforcements arrived just in time to turn the tide. During the chaos, Moyo struck down one of the fighters and commanded his entire army to launch a combined assault, shattering the enemy's defenses until the guild realized their end was near. Finally, Moyo unleashed Corpse Explosion, obliterating the entire Lineage Guild squad in one devastating blast. One of the bystanders gasped, "That boy is a walking disaster." Another muttered, "The Lineage Guild will never forgive him for this." At that moment, the guild leader himself appeared. He too had failed to obtain the Demon King's heart. His face twisted in fury as he demanded, "Where are my men? What happened to them?" One of his subordinates stammered, "Perhaps they left the area. I'll send them a message right away." An hour later, Moyo had already defeated the dungeon boss for the second time, obtaining the Demon King's spellbook and another Demon King's heart, though this one was of lower grade. He mused, "It seems the heart I acquired the first time won't drop again." We then understood that he had reached level 13. Moyo thought to himself, "With the time I have left, maybe I can enter the dungeon a few more times and reach level 16, but it won't be easy." He left the dungeon to find no one waiting for him. The next day we saw She, the elemental mage, struggling at level 10, only to be shocked by Moyo's sudden appearance. "He must be waiting for another team," she muttered, "but I won't lose to him again." 45 minutes later, Moyo had once more slain the Demon King as effortlessly as before. Even the creature seemed exhausted by now. Moyo smiled faintly and said, "Sorry, but I have no other choice but you." It was clear that he continued killing the Demon King over and over until he finally reached level 14, before leaving to rest a bit and prepare for what was next. She asked, "What level have you reached now?" Moyo replied, 14. She was stunned, then laughed and said, "After I cleared the dungeon twice, I barely reached level 11, and that was with difficulty." And she added, "Tomorrow I'll show you what I can do, so stop looking for a team." After she truly strained herself and reached level 12, Moyo asked, "What good will that challenge do you?" She answered, "I will not lose to you." Moyo muttered, "This nuisance will not leave me alone today." She said, "It is not only for that reason. My dream is to enter Zhang Academy and excel there in the end." Moyo said, "There is only one solution. Enter the Nightmare Tier Dungeon." She objected, "But that requires level 17, and I'm still level 12, and no one will accept taking me with them." Moyo asked, "Tell me, why don't you wait 12 hours between dungeon attempts like I do?" She replied, "Look at this talisman. With it, I do not need to wait 12 hours to clear the dungeon again, and I can enter an unlimited number of times." And we learned the talisman had 7 uses remaining. Moyo asked, "How much is that talisman?" She said, "Very expensive. Even my father was upset when he bought it, but there was no other solution, and besides only 2 days remain and I must finish quickly and reach level 15. Moyo offered a deal. "I will get you to level 15 and I will use the 7 remaining charges of the talisman with you." She agreed immediately, and after they rested for 2 hours, they set out for the dungeon. She warned him, "This is the nightmare level. You risk your life." Moyo had already entered, so she said, "If you want to die, then die alone now." Moyo told her, "Stay close to me," and he began clearing the dungeon before her. He finished the Wolf King using the Corpse Explosion skill, and experience poured in upon them literally. She told him, "You're used to this now." He replied, "Since level 10, I've been doing the same thing." She was shocked as Moyo neared clearing the dungeon in 10 minutes only. She said, "We spent a whole hour to reach this place." In the end, Moyo killed the final boss and reached level 15. Leaving She with a quarter of a level to reach level 12. And he told her, "If you need any gear that dropped from the boss, take what you want. I have plenty. She chose the Imp King's staff, and Moyo also gave her the spell book to boost her power later. Moyo continued killing dungeon bosses repeatedly, and they replayed the scene multiple times. And with the 7 remaining uses exhausted, we learned she had reached level 14. She told him, "At this rate, you should be the next district champion." Moyo said, "I don't understand what you mean." And she explained, "The district champion gains a special number of points that will benefit you when entering the academy. I have a strong feeling you will be that champion." When they left, we saw Yang, at level 11, signaling to someone to guard the dungeon entrance. Moyo said to her, "Let us join them. That way we will have completed our quests." They met Yang, who joked, "Congratulations! When do we put on the badge?" She smiled and teased back, "What are you talking about? Everyone saw you searching for a team like a stray dog, so we decided to take you in." Yang laughed, "You are truly my brothers. The academy we aim for only requires me to reach level 12. They rested briefly, then set out together for the dungeon. Yang protested in disbelief. "This is the nightmare tier, and there are only 3 of us. Are you insane?" She snapped playfully, "If you talk again, I'll toss you out." And Yang surrendered with a grin. "Fine, I'll be quiet." Moyo pressed on, cutting down monsters until he felled the final boss. Yang stared, bewildered, and begged, "Take me with you. Never leave me alone." Moyo answered, "I'll bring you along one day." She laughed and scolded him lightly, "Stop whining. What's with your mood swings?" When they emerged, each had reached the required level. The headmaster arrived to check on his students before the university entrance exam. A teacher asked, "I heard some of your students want to enter Jiazhang Academy. Is that true?" The headmaster replied, "Yes, Moyo and she have planned this for a long time, but I don't know if they have reached level 15 yet. One Jin student reached level 12, and another reached level 13. And then the strong trio, Moyo, she, and Yang, appeared. The headmaster said, "I hope you bring good news." Yang indeed had reached level 12, and she had reached level 15, and the headmaster nodded. "I believe she now has an 80% chance to enter the academy." Then Moyo finally reached level 16, which stunned 3 instructors. They noted that his weapons proved he had cleared the dungeon many times. The headmaster told the students to board the bus and said, "Rest up. Tomorrow we move to the site of the final exam." Moyo thought, "Now that I'm level 16, I can transfer to Jiazhang Academy. I can be at ease." The next morning, Moyo set out for the exam and met Yang and Shi. Each participant was handed a stone. Whoever shattered the stone would be transported immediately to the testing ground. Moyo moved to his exam area and found more than 10,000 applicants vying for the same test. The test tower was activated, and the rules were announced plainly. Speaking inside the tower is forbidden, and any utterance will be judged a definite failure. The students nervously asked, "If we cannot speak, how can we clear the tower?" The one who asked that question was expelled, proof of how strict the rules were. The instructors explained that combat class students would face a special trial, and support class students would have their own separate exams. After completing the first stage, each candidate would choose 3 difficulty levels. The higher the chosen difficulties, the greater the final points earned. We learned that these points would matter to the universities, so much so that their value could surpass gold. Equipment changes were also banned inside the test. The weapon you select will stay with you until the end. What will happen in the exam? What surprises await? Stay tuned. If you enjoyed the tale, we will release more chapters, perhaps 2 in one day as before, depending on your support. Like, comment, and share the story everywhere. See you in the next part. Farewell.